Okay, the question I was posed for today's kind of session, we'll call this, is why are most founders afraid of sharing the reality of entrepreneurship? They call it the struggles. Well, if you are a founder that hasn't experienced struggles, you just haven't been doing this long enough. And the reality is, you will all experience struggles. And struggles is with a bracket with a capital S. It will happen a lot. Actually, one of the best that you should actually look it up. Kevin O'Leary on Shark's Tank was on like Squawk Box or CNNBC or something like that over the summer, and he was telling this story about what entrepreneurship is really like. He was trying to paint like a vivid picture for everybody. And he said on any given day, he will wake up and he'll be on the treadmill. It's like 8 in the morning. And he'll get a call that one of his portfolio companies is going bankrupt or being sued into oblivion. And and he feels like he's going to melt down. And then 10 minutes later, he'll get a call that one of his other portfolio companies is being acquired that they didn't expect. And he's like, that's an everyday occurrence. And so entrepreneurship is actually about, and this is what I've learned doing this 20 years, is actually never getting addicted to the highs or getting sucked into the lows. It's just recognizing there's a great Tom Hanks saying, it too shall pass. Like all of this will just pass and you will get back to that kind of messy middle. That's what entrepreneurship is about. So, why are most founders afraid of showcasing the struggle? And a couple of years ago, it started a trend of becoming really popular of building in public. That's one extreme, all the way to the opposite polar extreme, which is like stealth mode, incognito, don't tell anybody what's going on. Obviously, as a guy who's sharing online, I don't believe in that path. I believe that your prospects, your customers, your vendors, your future investors, they want to see your structured thinking. They want to see your decision making frameworks. They want to see how you act and think, and they want to learn from you. So I think showcasing ideas like this is really important. But why most of the time, and I think I do a fair job of showcasing the good, bad, and ugly of entrepreneurship. I have been very expressive over the years of the many struggles, the many failures, the many silly, we call it the dumb taxes that I've paid. It all comes down to, and this is my sales mind. My sales mind tells me the reason that most founders don't do this, they're afraid of losing opportunities, right? It's why do companies typically start with too wide a total addressable market? Why do their businesses seem like they're generalists rather than specialists? Why do they market themselves to too many ideal customer profiles, buyer personas as a catch-all? Is because they're so afraid of niching down to finding a core audience that is perfect for them, because the opportunity cost is a fish could have jumped in the boat from other markets. And so that's actually what hurts them. Being casting too wide a net, you think is great, but in fact, you're catching everything that comes in the boat and it's distracting from your true ICP. The same concept is around talking about struggles. The average founder believes that if they are too open and overt with the struggles, that the wrong or the right, the right opportunity for them will say, no, I can't do business with a guy who has failed in these regards. I only go with winners. They're afraid of telling the struggle because they think, what are future investors going to think of me that I didn't grow 10% compounded growth a month, or I didn't, triple, triple, double, double. They're all going to raise their hands and say, I'm going to opt out of dealing with this person because they heard that story. I actually think that that's not true. I think, kind of coming back to that total addressable market funnel, the true great fits for your business, prospects, customers, employees, vendors, investors, they actually want the authentic self. They actually want to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because anybody that's been doing this long enough knows that 10% of a week is off the charts highs. 10% of the week is off the charts lows where you can't believe you've chosen this as a vocation. And then the 80% is the everyday, and the everyday is messy. And sharing the struggles, I think, personally, has attracted more business, more opportunities, more customers, more employees, vendors, investors in the 3 agencies that I've had of sharing an equal amount of good, bad, and ugly. Of course, you don't want to be I think you don't want to be building a public and only telling horror stories, because then I think you would come off as somebody that can't solve complex problems, only seems to ever have problems. You probably had a friend like that where it's like that Saturday Night Live skit of that person that's like wah wah, like Debbie Downer. Nobody wants to deal with that person. But those that have been doing this long enough recognize there are moments of Debbie Downer. There are moments of the messy middle where you're trying to figure out, navigate, you're inventing along the journey. And then there's a portion of like euphoria. You just keep winning. You've got the Midas touch. I think that if you overcome that hump and you could empirically see that sharing the struggle actually could win you more leads and opportunities, I think most founders would be much more transparent. They'd say, "Oh, this will actually potentially attract the right people towards me. I'll do this more often." So that's my take on it. I think it's the fear of opportunity lost, and if you could prove to them, and that's the difficult part. I don't know that it's provable, and you have to believe it in your heart. But if you could prove it, then I think overall founders would do this all day long.